Can you talk a little bit about the extractive industry in general operating in Africa?
Yeah, in Africa is now we have a lot of issue because most of the companies that are dealing with oil, minerals in Africa, diamond, gold, you name it, uranium or copper or cobalt, you name it, mostly a Chinese company. As you do know, China now has about 36 contracts with the 36 African countries, from very south in Zimbabwe, Zambia, all the way to Sudan, leave alone Ethiopia and West Africa, Nigeria, and so on. So this is one thing here. Is to dealing with Chinese a little bit trickier, because first of all, dealing with the Western company is easier because there's some accountability, you can do the advocacy, you can put the pressure on the government, on the taxman, on the government of the company, and hopefully you can be able to come up with some justice. But in China, for instance, Chinese, first of all, they don't respect human rights. Okay? So China, as a government, is persecuting its own citizen, the Tibet, the Falun Gong. Okay? Therefore, and also the Africans have no access to the Chinese documents because everything is in Chinese. You don't know exactly what is going on. But whereby when you had the foreign Western companies, of course, it's either in English or French, right? So African well versed in these two languages. So Africa, I think, thought is an easy way out, but I think there are going to be a lot of consequences of having Chinese to control the whole minerals and the oil companies, oil field in Africa. And also the issue to do with Africa is not the issue of the oil companies. I think also the issue to do with the good leadership in Africa. Africa is missing one thing: the good leaders. We only had 5 leaders in Africa. We had Senghor, we had Nyerere, and then we had of course now we have Nelson Mandela, and then the president of Botswana, and then we had the president of Angola. Those are the only leaders who actually stay in power for 2 or 3 years or 2 terms, and then they left. But the rest become dictators. Those are Umar Bongo and the rest. So you can see the revenue from the oil is not going to benefit the African continent, whether in the case of the Sudan or Liberia, of Sierra Leone in diamond, or Chad oil or Nigeria oil, is going to benefit only the leaders of those corrupt African countries. And this money, actually, money from the oil, the oils, these natural resources belongs to the people of Africa. So now the leaders, these corrupt leaders, takes the money, agree with the company with a certain percentage, and then takes the money or the revenue and invest it in the banks in France, Canada, US, Geneva. So at the end of the day, who is suffering? It is the African man who is on the lower level under the ground.
In countries, let's say, for instance, like the Congo, it's said that trillions of dollars in natural resources are under the ground. What kind of regulations could be put in place that where the citizens of the country would actually see some of the royalties from these natural resources that are being extracted by foreign companies?
Yes, Africa is rich, but today Africa is still begging, with Africans always depending to aid, to food from the Western countries most of the time. But Africa is rich in terms of the natural resources. Yes, it is true. Congo is one of the, I think is the second after the, was one of the richest actually in terms of the diamond after South Africa. However, this richness of the country with these natural resources, gold and copper and diamond, was not translated into the livelihood to enhance the life of average person on the ground. So it's only benefiting, enriching only the leaders in the power. Mobutu, for instance, is one of the richest African men. He has more than $5 billion in the Swiss bank account. Okay? So now I think the issue has to do with the leadership. We need a leader who can come and use these resources, utilize these resources, and then give back to the community, give back to the people in terms of the better healthcare system, education, especially women and girls education, okay, agriculture, and then make sure that the priority is the country, but not to enrich, not the selfishness. I think if we find a leader that can be able to do that, I think Africa would be better off.